Welcome.
Why don't you give me a warning?
Morning. Welcome and welcome back. Yo, in this video, well actually it's going to be 2 videos.
Maybe.
But we'll start with this one. We want to talk a little bit about the clean. And we want to cover testing your assumptions in this video, causation versus correlation, and trajectory. Do you think you can handle that?
Probably.
Probably is a pretty confident answer. And pretty confident isn't that confident. Let's have it. What are we talking about here?
The reason we're making these 2 videos is common advice. You'll get common advice for both the clean, the snatch too sometimes, that if you've got some banging going on, the answer is your grip.
We're talking about banging here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're clear.
It's going into the rack, maybe causing some bruising, causing some problems. If you learn how to relax your grip, your clean is going to improve. This thing causes that thing. Right. So the first thing I want to say is that's not true. And I'm going to explain why it's not true, and I'm going to offer some guidelines for your thinking process. The first thing I want to bring up is the idea of testing your assumptions or testing the advice you get. Mm-hmm. If someone gives you an answer or to your question, if someone says, hey, do this thing, you can test it. Most new kettlebell students are not going to test these assumptions, but as a kettlebell coach, my guess is you've already done a clean. If you can do a clean well, go grab the bell as hard as you possibly can, crush the grip, and see what happens when you do a clean. You will not see banging of your wrist.
Unless you're bad at cleans.
Unless you're bad at cleans. And then you can come back, maybe message us, we'll help you out. Happy to do that. Mm-hmm. But if your cleans are still bad, after your grip, they were bad before, that's not the reason. I've tested this before, I've tested it myself, I've tested it with other coaches. Grab the bell, you will not get a banging. Okay, what's that all about? Well, there are other reasons.
I think you just stole my line. What's that all about?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. There are other reasons why the bell is banging, which we're going to get into in a second. But the idea of causation and correlation. So the idea of correlation is 2 things happen roughly around the same time. This thing happens and that thing happens. Okay, they're together. They happen in the same time frame, the same period, but one does not cause the other. So just because they happen right around the same time doesn't mean that there's a causal connection. So causing something means when you do this thing, that thing happens. So let's say in this case, if a bad grip or a strong grip rather caused banging. Yeah? What is that?
There's somebody backing up an electric car.
Oh.
Power of YouTube. Don't worry. We'll let it pass.
Well, okay.
It causes banging.
So if a strong grip causes banging, then when I have a strong grip, it would cause banging. Even if it's not true for you, it would be true for me. Mm-hmm. Something is causal, okay? If I jump off of a building, I'm going to fall, okay? The cause of my fall is the jump from the building.
Yes,
okay?
That's
Unless
causal.
we've got some other mitigating factors, like jetpack or whatever.
Well,
anyway.
Superhero powers. If you got those, let me know. We can do other things than kettlebell coach.
But causation and correlation are important things to understand because people will present something as a cause when it may just be correlated. And that's what's going on with the grip.
Okay,
Ask me another leading question.
Okay, do you enjoy what about trajectory? How does that have to do with the banging of anything?
So the trajectory is really just the direction, the belt path is what we're talking about. So we're talking about causation and correlation. What I've just said is that a tight grip is correlated with a bad clean, even though it doesn't cause it. Well, why? What is a clean? A clean is a vertical skill. Now, you may have a horizontal engine, let's say. Let's say you use horizontal power from the hips, and your main mode of movement is primarily horizontal. Your goal is still to get a bell from the floor up into the rack. If you ask me, and if you ask him, it's more of a vertical skill. So the goal is to make the bell go up.
Up it goes.
And you want to keep it as close as possible. Now, the trajectory that a lot of people have when the clean does bang becomes very horizontal. And the 2 most common reasons that I've seen are 1, the bell is powered by the spine or the back, or the hips.
Should we demo a couple of these?
If you want.
Yeah, I guess might as well. I mean, they're getting their money's worth here today.
Hopefully you don't hurt yourself. You should do like the little crossy thing.
Like what you mean?
Like the Catholics.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we allowed to say Catholics? I don't know.
I don't know.
So vertical. Okay, now do a bad one. Bang. Okay, now the other reason that you'll sometimes see the banging is when the hips finish and then you pull after the hips finish. So hips are completely extended, then you pull.
That's like a curl.
Kinda.
Hey, ladies.
So
If you're into that.
this isn't a video about clean technique. We have other ones and we'll probably have more. The point of this though is to show that with both of those scenarios, you have what is a vertical skill, but a horizontal motion of the bell. Now, when the bell is going this way and you don't want it to go that way, what are you going to do?
Oh, well, I'm certainly not going to run towards it. So I'm going to give it a pull.
You're going to give it a pull. What happens if you have a loose grip when you give it a pull?
Well, it might fly out of my hand that way.
It's going to fly out of your hand. So this is why people have that strong grip when there's the bang. It's because they have made the bell go that way when they want the bell to go this way.
Whew, seems simple enough.
It really is. So to wrap up some of these ideas, the first thing, test your assumptions if you're a coach. Test the statements or the claims that your coach makes. Now this is going to be harder with students because again, you may not possess the know-how to do a clean in the first place.
But honestly, if you're watching this video, you've got a leg up and there you go.
You probably know your way around a bell a little bit. Test it. Comment, let us know what happens. But again, if a tight grip caused banging in the rack, then every time I did a clean with a tight grip, banging would happen. It is not causative. If it did, then one would cause the other. It would happen 100% of the time. It's not the case. It is correlated. Okay, so test the assumptions, understand causation and correlation. Then when we get into why the banging actually happens, we've got to get into trajectory. The bells don't move on their own. Force has to move them. So you're doing something to generate force in an undesired direction. Kettlebell is a vertical skill.
Clean.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, we got you. I got your back.
So the clean is a vertical skill. You are generating horizontal force somehow, whether it's by waiting too long to pull or using your upper back to power it. Those are the two most common things that we see. There may be some other things, but the point is, look at your trajectory. Look at what is causing the bell to move in that direction and clean it up. The things that we recommend, learn how to power the bell with your legs and do a much faster pull. And we'll make a video. We'll make some videos on
don't worry.
the pulls.
And we'll attach them somewhere for you to see.
But these are the first things that we want to stress when it comes to clean technique as it relates to grip.
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to have another video in this series, so stay tuned. Anything else?
Not till the next video.
Okay, for the record, I was gripping that belt pretty hard, even on the good one. Be well and stay strong. Or how about you just stay strong? Or how about I just fuck off?